What's going on, everybody? It's Hobo. Today we're going to talk about what the industry has deemed as appropriate ways to restrain a child in a behavior. California calls it PROACT. Here in Texas, SafetyCare is one version of what I've heard. So, this idea of what we go through in those training situations, those are all just designed by companies for legal purposes. The reality is when a kid is in a behavior, especially as they get older, the way that they wish for us to move and go in there oftentimes is not realistic. By doing it the way they ask us to do it, it oftentimes is putting more people in jeopardy. So just to be clear, the only time in both states that SafetyCare or the process of going hands-on with a child is when they are in danger to themselves or others. This doesn't mean that you go hands-on with them because they're swearing and they are just being a turd. Okay? It is only for when they are a danger to themselves or others. I have seen so many bad technicians abuse this for children just being children. And then people like myself who worked in an industry where I had to be knowledgeable in restraints, not to mention I was a first responder. I worked as a volunteer firefighter. I used to be a wilderness, advanced wilderness first aid with the Department of Ecology. I have always been in these fields where I made sure to take care of my patient, whoever was hurt, right? So people like me who are hired because of our size and our backgrounds, we are treated less than, like we are Neanderthals, like we can't think forward enough to be mindful of how big we are when it comes to having to go on hands-on. Even if you state that, hey, I have boundaries, I don't want to be in this because of this, whatever, it will turn out that you're going to get put in those situations regardless. You're going to need to support your team, and that's what happens. That's how you get roped into it. And then once you've done it, you're there. So it's really unfortunate that we are placing our technicians in danger because we can't just look at the facts, which are we should just go to a straight defensive and do everything we can with our pads to keep them safe. But to use pads, you have to go through like extensive training just to get access to use pads. Wouldn't pads be the first line? We don't want to go hands-on, so why wouldn't we? Oh, well, pads are restrictive. Pads keep them from hurting themselves and from you being hurt. But restraints aren't restrictive. It makes no sense that this is the thought we have. We need to be doing better by our staff, by the companies, for our staff and for our clients. It's unacceptable that we continue to say, oh, well, this is the new best practice. We want to be We don't want to forget the terms. Sorry, it's slipping my mind. But essentially, you don't want to go in first. You know, it's least intrusive first. There you go. And so I get it. I really do. But when you have such radical nature occurring and you allow for environmental um, items to be used and deployed, i.e., cushions, jackets, anything soft you can put between your client and the material or the hard surface that they might be hitting against, right? That is acceptable, but we can't use pads. I struggle with what we are doing because at the end of the day, I just continue to see these kids that need better care, and we just keep finding ways to not do it. Someone's getting paid, and these kids are getting told, well, we're doing our best. I find it really hard to believe this is what we're calling our best. So that's all I have for today's episode. We need to be doing better by our teammates. Uh, Take care of each other. Look, I'm not trying to say that the corporate monster that is who sets these rules and regulations are the bad guy. They're doing their job. But I would like for them to be mindful. When was the last time you actually had to be in those situations? And it's not even fair to compare your situations to the current situation. We have treatments that are designed and tailored for every single client. Why do we think that the emergency response should be cookie cutter and not tailored to each individual client as well? Thank you guys. Love you all. Be kind. You never know what someone's going through. And I'll catch you guys later. Yep.